Understanding dashboard warning lights. Your car's dashboard is constantly talking to you. The problem is, most drivers pay attention when a light appears. And by then, sometimes the damage is already started. But there is good news. You don't need to be a mechanic to understand these rights. Today, we are going through 8 of the most important dashboard warning lights. What they mean, how serious they are, and most importantly, which ones mean you should stop driving immediately. Because ignoring the wrong warning light can turn a small problem into an expensive engine transmission repairs. What is it, people? This is Auto Diagnostics 254. If you have not subscribed, kindly subscribe to get more of these. Comment, like, and share. The first one is a check engine light that looks exactly like this. Mostly it's yellow. So the check engine light, this is the little yellow engine shaped symbol. When it comes on, it means the vehicle's computer has detected a fault somewhere in the engine or emission system. And here where they make the mistake. They see the light, the car still drives normally, so they don't care, they ignore it. A solid check engine light usually means the problem isn't immediately catastrophic, but it still needs to be diagnosed. It could be something relatively simple, such as a sensor fault or an emission related problem. It could be an ignition or fuel problem, but there is one version of which this light should be taken much more seriously. If the check engine light is flashing, don't click it like a normal warning. A flashing light can indicate a serious misfire that can damage the catalytic converter. So don't simply say, "I'd deal with that next month." Get the vehicle diagnosed, and remember, the warning light tells you that something is wrong. It doesn't tell you exactly where the problem is. That's where a diagnostic scan comes in. The next is a oil pressure warning, right? This one is different. This is the oil pressure warning light, and if this red oil symbol comes on while you are driving, pay attention immediately. This light generally indicates that the engine's oil pressure is too low, and your engine depends on pressurized oil to lubricate critical components. Bearings, the crankshaft, camshafts, and other moving parts without adequate oil pressure. Those components can be damaged very quickly. So what do you do? Safely pull over and switch off the engine. Then check the engine oil level if it is safe to do so. If the oil level is low, the engine may need oil, but don't automatically assume that adding oil solved the entire problem. If the oil level is normal in the oil warning light remains, do not keep driving the vehicle just because the engine still sounds okay. There could be an oil pump problem, which is way dangerous, a blockage, also excessive bearing clearance, and other mechanical faults, not just oil. There could be many. So a few times of caution can save you from an engine replacement. The other one is a battery charging warning lights. But there is something important you should understand. This light doesn't necessarily means your battery itself is bad. It could indicate a problem with the vehicle's charging system. So the alternator is responsible for producing electrical power while the engine is running and charging the battery. If the alternator stops charging, the vehicle may continue running for a while, but eventually the battery voltage drops, and once the battery is depleted, the engine cannot stop. Depending on the vehicle, you could also lose important electrical functions. So, if this light comes on while you are driving, do not assume you can continue normally for the next several days. Switch off unnecessary electrical loads where practical and get the charging system checked as soon as possible. A technician should check the battery, alternator, wiring connections, and charging voltage. Very important. Next is a braking system warning light. It looks like that. And let's talk about it because it is one of the most important warning lights on the entire dashboard. So this symbol can mean different things depending on the vehicle. Sometimes the parking brake is simply engaged, so you have to disengage for you to continue driving or to start driving. If on stop you had engaged it. But if the parking brake is completely released and the warning remains on, again do not ignore it. This is an electrical system that is working behind the scene, maybe using a computer or not, and it can indicate several things on your vehicle. It could indicate low brake fluid or another problem in the braking system. Okay, and low brake fluid isn't something you should simply top up and forget. It could be related to one brake components or potentially a leak, which is extremely dangerous. Note that, especially for older vehicles. Check the parking brake first. If the light remains on, have the braking system inspected. Yeah, go to your nearest garage. Because unlike faulty radio or air conditioning system, your brakes are not an optional equipment. If the braking performance feels abnormal, don't continue driving. Give the vehicle to a mechanic for safe inspection. It's very important. So the next is the ABS warning lights. The initials are the anti-lock braking system, which is very important. That helps in the braking of the vehicle, especially when you are braking fast on slippery roads and a lot. So it is very important. Its job is to help prevent the wheels from rocking during hard braking. So that is the main job. So if the ABS light comes on, the conventional braking system is still operate normally, but the anti-lock function may not be available. And depending on the vehicle, other electronic safety systems can also be affected. It becomes particularly important during emergency braking on all wet surfaces. Loose or slippery roads. Don't panic, by the way, but don't ignore this light either. You should drive cautiously and have the vehicle diagnosed. So one of the things that could also cause it is when the wheel speed sensor is broken or destroyed. Okay, but it could also be wiring. There's also the computer involved, which is the ABS module, a tunneling or another component. The scan tells you when to investigate it. Okay, Karuga. Okay. Hmm? So we have the coolant temperature warning, where you're going to see a C and a H. So this one is particularly very important to show whether the vehicle's engine is hot or is cold. It's extremely hot or it's extremely cold, but I don't expect it to be extremely cold so long as the vehicle is moving. There's so many reasons to be careful with this. There are so many problems that could bring or could be in the vehicle, especially when the pointer goes to hot or extremely hot. You would be having a leak inside the engine or outside in the hoses. That means the coolant, or if you put water, then there could be a problem there. So it's important that you check on that. So you're supposed to take the vehicle to a technician. Also, something very important, a thermostat could be failed and stuck. That means there is no circulation of water inside the engine, so the water is not going to be cooled inside the radiator. So there's also in the case of a vehicle that is using an electronic or an electric cooling fan, so also it could be destroyed. There also could be a problem with the coolant temperature sensor. So there's quite a lot that involves around this. So you see the vehicle engine is hot using that pointer that is indicated using the coolant temperature warning light. That one you should not guess. In fact, it should be told if possible, because there are so many problems that could come around a hot or an extremely hot engine. So many, and we're going to be communicating about them later in this YouTube channel. So be careful with that, and follow us, share, and remember to subscribe. So the other one is the tire pressure sensor, or what you call the TPMS. It usually means one or more tires have pressure below the recommended level, and it might seem to be a minor issue, but tire pressure affects braking, handling, tire wear, and fuel consumption. Yeah, it's important to have that checked. So when it comes on, check that tire pressure as soon as possible. Guessing doesn't work here. So also check the electronics to make sure that it's not an error that is being brought by shorted wires, and also on all the other sensors, because the vehicle could be normal, but maybe they are showing that the vehicle is extremely hot even if you haven't started the engine, but the vehicle is on. you know. So those could also be errors that could be coming. That is it about the tire pressure sensor. It's not much. Yeah. So, but again, if it flashes and stays on, the problem may be on the monitoring, as I have said, system itself, rather than simply low tire pressure. Again, if you see the light, make sure the tires have the right amount of pressure. If not, try and go to the what? To the technician, to your favorite technician. The other one is the airbag SRS warning, right? So this is one of the last ones I'm going to be communicating about. SRS stands for supplementary restraint system. So this one is also very dangerous when you see it on. Okay, when this light remains illuminated, the vehicle has detected a fault on the SRS system or the airbag system. It could involve an airbag, a seat belt, pretensioner, a sensor, a wiring, or the whole system controlling it, that is its computer. So the important point in this, you may not know there is a problem until you actually need the system, and that is exactly why you shouldn't ignore this light. That's why I'm telling you it's so dangerous. So the car may drive perfectly normally, the engine may run perfectly, the brakes may feel perfectly normal, but in a collision the affected safety system may not operate as intended. So the SRS system properly diagnosed is not an afterthought. It's something you should be careful. This should be done by an experienced technician, because I know there are not many who care about the SRS thing. That is because of the engineering behind the SRS airbags and the damage they could cause when they come out by mistake. Yeah, because they are also very dangerous. They are only useful in case of a collision. That is by doing the mathematics of a collision and the mathematics that is involved with your body and so on and so forth. So be careful with it. Again, look at the light technician. So here are three big, what you call the big three lights, which are the oil pressure sensor, the engine overheating warning, and the brake warning. So as we have communicated, they are very dangerous. So make sure when the oil pressure sensor, the engine overheating warning has come, and the serious brake warning has come, do not ignore them. So other warning lights can be serious, but these three can turn a relatively manageable problem into major damage or a dangerous situation per se very quickly. Remember, never judge a warning light only by how the car feels. A car can feel completely normal while serious faults are developing. Yeah. Again, if the serious problem develops, you might dig deeper in your pocket, or your life gets in danger. So it's important that you check on that. So don't just drive, understand it. Your dashboard isn't trying to scare you, it's trying to give you information. The mistake is ignoring that information while guessing what it means. A proper diagnostic scan can help identify the faults and pointing the technician towards the currently showing on your dashboard. Don't wait until the car refuses to start, and don't just clear the light without finding out why it came on. That is especially on the check engine light, because there is a way you clear it. If it wasn't intermittent, intermittent means that it's blinking. It could be a minor issue that could be bringing a major issue later. That means digging deeper or even injuring yourself in case of catastrophic failure causing accidents. You know, if you found this video useful, subscribe to Auto Diagnostics Kenya for more practical car diagnostics, maintenance, and automotive education. You just come in here, you'll find more and more and more as we progress daily. So tell me in the comments which warning light is currently showing on your car. Drop the symbols or describe it, and let's see how I can help you. Also, I'm an automotive technician. Yeah, I'm just giving information, so you can text me via the comment section. I will be happy to reply. Thank you very much.